with the way betrayals are happening in this series, I feel like who do you think got betrayed the worst? Who do you think got betrayed the most? Whose secret was the biggest in this whole series so far? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden. So, at the end of episode 8, you know, she finally found out that he is the crown prince, and she was a little, taken back at the fact that he is the crown prince, right? But I'm like, okay, well, now, girl, it's time for you to fess up to your secret, right? So there was a moment in episode 9 where, towards the beginning, she was crying, and he was like, "Tell me exactly what happened. Like, why are you crying? Like, I'll forgive you." Da, 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 da. Well, or he said he didn't say, "I'll forgive you." He said, um, before she could tell him who she was, he was like, "I'm gonna punish the royal physician for all he's done," right? But then she was like, but then he was like, it's impossible for his daughter not to get caught in it too. But since you are a servant, I'm going to try to protect you. All you need to do is stay by my side, and you should be clear of danger. So, like, she was gonna, she was like hesitant to tell him. And I'm like, in these moments, what annoys me is like, you have the words to say, "Your Highness," or "in fact," but you can't just say, "I'm blah blah blah's daughter." Like, just spit it out and say that. But no. So it wasn't until another moment where he was like, "Okay, well, it looked like you had something to tell me, so just spit it out and tell me what it is." So when she finally told him of her identity, he was pissed off, but he wasn't mad that, she lied to him about his identity. And both brothers have this or feel the same way. They're just more mad that she's the daughter of the royal physician. And that's really what pisses them off the most, because they both like her. Like, he's fallen for her, right? And the grand prince fell in love with her a long time ago, and she even have a third person who's in love with her. And I think that's the father's the father's guy that he sends to do all the bad stuff, right? um yeah, so she, she tried to explain the father's reasoning, but she only knows of what the father's done in her house. She doesn't know what the father has done in his house, right? So in the palace, the father is like causing so much havoc, right? With the queen dowager. So she doesn't know about that yet. She doesn't know that her father's the one who tried to kill the king. So in her mind, she's thinking like, oh, her father didn't do that big of a thing, but he's like, your father is going to go down no matter what, right? And I have to say that the way his grandpa welcomed him and the way his uncle welcomed him, and the grandpa knows so much about him because his father always wrote to the grandpa about him. So, like, I think that's really nice. Like, when you think about the people he has around him, like his immediate family, not these other people, like, his own maternal grandfather, who is always there for him, and the grandpa has a lot of connections, which is how he's able to now move around. And then he still has the queen who treated him like her own son. So he does have a lot of people who love him, and his own father, adores him. It's just unfortunate that the father was poisoned and is now bedridden, right? Which he seems to be getting worse, because he was coughing blood in the beginning of episode 9, I think. So which is um what caused the Grand Prince to go to the Queen Dowager and be like, "Oh, I'm going to do whatever you want me to do. Just like cure the father and have him wake up," right? Um so they had to get the queen out of there and so on. But the issue with the queen, that the issue that she had was because she heard that if the Grand Prince became the Crown Prince, her father would kill the king. Well, now the Queen Dowager and her boyfriend are like, "Oh, if you become the Crown Prince, we won't kill the king, right? Or we won't kill the king in order for you to become the Crown Prince." So it's like, whose word is the strongest, right? And with each side, they're trying to figure out what can cause, what they could use against the other person. So apparently, the Grand Prince, the Queen, so the Queen's father, his grandma was a slave. So, however that happened, his grandma was a slave. So now that makes him a slave. But I could have sworn that if you if you marry up, don't you regardless, if you marry, don't you take the status of the husband? So how is she still a slave, and how is he, you know, a slave now too, right? They calling him a bastard child. And I'm like, what? How does that even make sense? Because if he's a slave, if he's a bastard child, what does that make the queen? What does that make the grand prince? They are his descendants, are they not? So how could he be a slave but they're not? So like that part didn't make any sense to me. So they pretty much used that against the left state counselor, right? They were doing they were going to use that information. So because he got scared of that, he hired somebody to take down the queen dowager. But he failed because the the royal physician, or the inspector general, got in the way of the bullet and got shot for her instead. So now they want revenge. The queen wants revenge. And I'm like, why couldn't you just leave it alone? Like, the boy already made a deal with them. But then again, that wasn't his deal. He wants the king dead anyway. So that's why he went after the queen, because the information about his past was going to be revealed, because they were investigating his family. But but it's funny because the people who sent that information out was the crown prince and his grandfather. So, you know, somehow the crown prince's grandfather got that information and they were like, let's use it, right? Okay. So they sent that information just to try to get them to fight each other. And that's exactly what they did. So he hired someone to go take out the queen, but the the royal physician got hurt instead. So because that's her lover, she's pissed off and now she wants revenge. Well, now the grand prince has to get in the way. He goes to see the queen dowager, and the queen dowager's like, I don't care. Whatever promises you made me, they're broken. You know what I did to protect this man, and now your grandpa almost killed him. Da-da-da-da-da. So now he has to go to the so he went to the royal physician who made it, who didn't pass away. He made it. And the royal physician is like, well, the only way you can um make up for what your grandpa did is to convince him to give up his position. So he went to the grandpa and was like, "You gotta go. You gotta go." Um, you know, and he even mentioned the part about being slave descendants, whatever. So the left state counselor resigned, and pretty much that was that part, right? So now, the crown prince is still on his way back to the palace. He has the royal seal, so nothing can really happen in the palace without the royal seal. And in the palace, they're trying to move up the crown prince, um, making the grand prince the crown prince, and then having his wedding to the royal physician's daughter on the same day. So, so now, but they need the royal seal to for all that to happen. So now the royal physician's daughter is in the palace. Grand Prince ask her to look over, to go to the king and see what kind of virus, what kind of poison that he was given, and see what she could do about it. She still doesn't know that it's her father behind it, right? So when um she goes to where the king is being held, and she started treating him like she was giving him, I don't know if she was giving him acupuncture, but she was poking his feet. She was smelling it and doing all this stuff. But the king started waking up. But at the same time, the royal physician was also coming to see the king, because when he was shot, he couldn't go see the king, right? Because that was the original promise, that he was supposed to cure the king. So at the end of episode 10, she hid because she heard her father coming, which, this is the part that annoys me, right? Because there was supposed to be a guard outside, because that was the whole plan with the grand prince, right? The grand prince took the head eunuch to go try on some clothes to get him out of the way, because that guy works for the queen dowager. So they're like, um I can let anybody, the guard that was supposed to be there, he's like, I'm not gonna let anybody enter, but the head eunuch, that's a different story. So that's the whole reason why he took the head eunuch away. So the guard should have been there and told the physician not to get in, right? But no, physician gets in and he checks the pulse of the king. His eyes opened when the girl did her thing. So now he goes, while she's hiding, he goes to the king, why are you trying to fool me? I know you're up. So he was like, open your eyes. So the king opened his eyes and he was like, you woke up too early. So then he puts more poison in his mouth. And the girl is just standing there. I'm like, I get you're scared, but you're just gonna stand there and watch him poison this guy? Like, watch your father poison the king of the nation. You're just gonna stand there and watch that happen? Okay. And I'm just like, after everything that the king has gone through, they better not kill him off in the end. Like, this man really does care for his children, and he's been through a lot. Like, what's the point of bringing him back, getting like this roller coaster of him being bedridden is like too much. Let's give the king a happy ending, yeah? Because again, these two, the queen dowager and the royal physician, like, I can't get but behind their reasoning. I know they tried to, like last week, they tried to show you, like, make you sorry for them, but I just can't. I just can't. At this point, you two can just be together and go somewhere else. But no, because he wants to be the grand prince's father, and he wants to be the crown prince's father-in-law, and he wants his daughter to be the crown princess. So that's why he's doing everything. And I'm like, if you truly cared about your love, you would have just taken your love and go somewhere else, right? I don't get it. I don't get it. And it's like, how long? Obviously, they're probably going to keep them till the end. This is, a 20 episode series, and we're only like halfway there. So it's like, what else is going to happen now?
And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.